your eye on South Sudan. For information and entertainment, stay tuned to iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
Sounds of the Week on iRadio.
Peace is and will always be our foundation. I keep my promise to you. My government is committed to full ceasefire across the country. No gun shall silence the voice of peace. We will continue to secure the communities and protect every citizen, regardless of where they live. Our people deserve to sleep without fear. Revitalized peace agreement is our bridge to the future. We will implement it. We will unify our forces. We will have a peaceful, credible election, and we will not go back to war.
Sounds of the Week on iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, good afternoon. This is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. President Salva Kiir announced that his government is removing public officials who prioritize self-interest over the country. A human rights advocate has raised concerns over the lack of transparency and limited access to information regarding 8 individuals deported from the United States to South Sudan. And authorities in Capoeira South County of Eastern Equatoria State say a bee attack at a gold mining on Wednesday has 1 person dead and another injured. These stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Baria Johnson, and now the news in detail. President Salva Kiir announced that his government is removing public officials who prioritize self-interest over the country. In his speech yesterday on the 14th Independence Anniversary broadcast via SSBC, the president stated that the government acted against corrupt individuals to save the struggling economy. He added that the country is investing in agriculture, roads, energy and education to address the ongoing economic crisis.
Our economy has struggled, but we are taking action. We are strengthening our systems. We are removing those who put their self-interest before the country. We are investing in agriculture, roads, energy, and education. We are building a future where a farmer feeds the nation. He shouldn't build it. This economy must be built to serve every citizen in every corner of this nation. The time is now. South Sudan is proud to be a member of the global community. We remain committed to fostering strong partnerships across Africa and the world. We seek cooperation, not confrontation, integration, not isolation.
President Kiir added, "Let's rise in unity."
Let us work together. Let us talk to each other. Let us rise in unity. Because when South Sudan stands united, no force on earth can bring us down. Even though this year we are not able to celebrate our independence in large public place, we will celebrate it in our homes, in our hearts, and in our prayers. As you celebrate.
A human rights advocate has raised concerns over the lack of transparency and limited access to information regarding 8 individuals deported from the United States to South Sudan. On Wednesday, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation confirmed the arrival of 8 migrants, including 1 South Sudanese, days after the U.S. government confirmed their deportation to Juba. The deportees have criminal convictions for serious offenses, including murder and rape. Advocate Godfrey Victor says their deportation raises serious legal and constitutional concerns. He questioned why the government has not disclosed the legal status or where the deportees are being held. He was speaking to iRadio in an exclusive interview this morning.
This is a new scenario and a new phenomenon in our system, in the history of South Sudan. This is a quite unique and something that is new in our society, in our legal system and the criminal justice system of our country, something new. But in all cases, under the provisions of criminal justice system, the constitutions, the penal code of South Sudan, the government is under duty to inform the relative, to inform the people under their custody and to inform their relatives that your person is under our custody. That is their right to inform them, to inform the relatives, so that the relatives can be in position to provide the necessary needs.
Victor emphasized that under South Sudanese law, the purpose of the criminal justice system is to reform offenders and reintegrate them into the society. However, he noted that some of the deportees are not South Sudanese, have no family or support system in the country, and may have already served their sentences abroad. He also warned that any diplomatic arrangement not grounded in domestic law undermines South Sudan's sovereignty.
So it is very unfortunate that we see that South Sudan has surrendered to the pressure, to the U.S. pressure, but the U.S. is trying to remove illegal obligations from its head by sending these people to a sub-country like South Sudan. First of all, on the human rights perspective, these people are supposed to be reintegrated in their society. Now you bring them to a foreign country whereby they don't have any support. They don't have even relatives here. They don't have even family here. They don't have even house here. Okay? Who will provide for them support? If the government of US is going to give them support that they needed for integration into their reintegration, or the government of South Sudan is going to continue providing them the support.
Authorities in Capoeira South County of Eastern Equatoria State say a bee attack at a gold mining on Wednesday has one person dead and another injured. Juma Justin, the county executive director, said the deceased was an 85-year-old Chinese national identified as Yan Chao, and that the injured was his South Sudanese companion. According to Justin, the men were working at a mining at around 6 a.m. when a swarm of bees attacked them, stinking both into coma. They were rescued and taken to a hospital for treatment. Justin says the elderly man later succumbed to injuries at 10 a.m. due to his advanced age and weakened immunity. He says the body of the victim has been flown to Juba and will later be transported to his home country.
hizo lambar banata ndugu za saa sita sababu mkan shغالين في mining mbar jabo في المستشفى za saa 10 ما تحملوا موت مبارك حصل في ايام بتاعنا اسمه ميريا اللي كانت بتحصل عندنا ينزل من China الموت ده لكنهم كان شغالين مجنونين سوا يعني حتى بنات اللي كان لهم كله لكنه كان زول كبير عمره 85 سنه زول عجوز اسبوع بتاع ما تحمل الكلام بتاع البنات اللي ما عنده معناه ما عنده جوه ده عشان كده هجري كاتلو الجنازه بتاعه من مبارك بعد ما مات كنا رفعناه في جوبا وناس
The official added that the two men were employed by a mining company belonging to the government of Eastern Equatoria State. The former Juba City Mayor, Kalisto Ladu, calls on all South Sudanese citizens to abandon tribalism and embrace national unity. Speaking during the Juba Day commemoration on Tuesday, Ladu emphasized that unity, coupled with forgiveness and reconciliation, offers the young nation its only path to development. He stated his readiness for any government assignment. The former mayor underscored the urgent need for tangible progress in basic services and infrastructure, articulating the population's aspirations.
أنا بطالبكم كلكم يا جنوبين نينا نكلي قبلية جنوبين ده جرب كل أنواع بتاع قبلية لكن قبلية ما بيصير جنوبين قدام الوحدة يا بيصيرنا قدام نينا كجنوبين لازم نعفي بعضنا من كل أخطاء نينا ارتكبناه ضد بعضنا لكل أخطاء نينا سببناه في جنوب السودان كقيادات وكشعب نينا لازم نعفي بعضنا ونتصلحوا ونمشي قدام بمصيرة بتاع تنمية جنوبين دارين نظام دارين تنمية دارين خدمات فتح الشوارع سفلة الطرق دارين كهرباء دارين موية دارين اتصالات الحديثة فلكل محبين أنا بقول لهم يعني it is not too late إن شاء الله هيكون في وقت لو قيادة بتاع الدولة قيادة بتاع الحركة الشعبية ولا سلطات في حكم يوم لو فكر إنه كومريد كاليسو ده ياخد assignment تاني إن شاء الله بنتلاقوا بنقدمكم لكن لو فرصة تاني ما جو برضو نحن لسه بنجيب مع جنوب السودان وبنجيب قيادة بتاع الدولة.
You are listening to iRadio Afternoon News. A civil society leader is urging the newly appointed Chief of Defense Forces of the SSPDF to prevent enrollment of children into the armed forces. President Salva Kiir appointed General Dao Atorjong as the Chief of Defense Forces on Monday, July 7th, replacing General Paul Nyang, who was relieved in a presidential decree read on the state-run television SSBC. Edmond Yakani, Executive Director of Community Empowerment for Progress Organization, says, with South Sudan's commitment to the National Action Plan to protect children associated with armed groups, it is important to prevent the recruitment and use of children in armed conflict. Yakani further called on the new army chief to prioritize the prevention of child recruitment into armed groups.
I would like to appeal to the newly appointed CDF that the trend of enrollment of children into our fighting forces or our armed forces should be one of his priority to prevent, because the country under the leadership of His Excellency President have committed itself to a national action plan that protect children associated with armed groups. And we are a bit concerned, so I'm appealing to the new CDF, ensure that recruitment of children into the fighting forces is not allowed and should be a priority of your office, and you should deliver the national action plan for protection of children associated with conflict.
On February 7, 2020, South Sudan signed an action plan to end and prevent all grave violations against children. The action plan covering all grave violations is the first of its kind since the creation of the Children and Armed Conflict Mandate. And finally, Ugandan music icon Joseph Mayanja, popularly known as Dr. Jose Chameleon, has called for peace and unity among the people of Western Equatoria during South Sudan's Independence Day celebration. The legendary artist arrived in Yambio on Tuesday to a welcome with thousands of excited fans lining the dusty streets of the state capital, chanting and cheering as his convoy made its way through the town. For many, it was their first time seeing the celebrated musician in person. Chameleon visited Yambio on the eve of the Independence Day to perform in a peace concert organized by local entertainment stakeholders. Among those who received him on the eve of Independence Day were senior state officials, including the acting governor and other dignitaries. In his remarks, the acting governor hailed Chameleon's visit as a powerful gesture of unity and African solidarity. He also encouraged the Ugandan star to collaborate with local artists and support their musical aspirations. Addressing the crowd, Chameleon said he was deeply honored to return to Yambio after 24 years, calling the visit a special moment in his musical journey. He said that without peace, there cannot be happiness and development in Western Equatoria.
The people of Western Equatoria, thank you so much for receiving me all the way from Uganda to Western Equatoria. My message to you people is very simple and very clear. If it wasn't for the peace but the government fought for, that the forefathers of South Sudan lost their lives for, we wouldn't be here. Just like the lady who was here before me, she emphasized that nobody should disturb the peace in Western Equatoria and South Sudan. If there is no peace, there is no happiness. And if people are sad, there is no life.
The Peace Concert featured a vibrant showcase of South Sudanese culture with performance from local artists and traditional dance groups. You're listening to iRadio Afternoon News, and now to the regional and international news with Madrama James.
Nigerian security forces killed at least 30 bandits in coordinated counter-operation in the Fashkari district of Kazina State in the country's northwest, the State Internal Security Commissioner said on Thursday. Nasir Muazu said that the joint forces comprising police, military and the air forces responded simultaneously, attacked by hundreds of bandits on the communities of Kadisau, Raudama and Sabon Lai late on Tuesday. After intense clashes, the security forces repelled the attackers, with 30 killed by coordinated airstrike as they tried to flee, Muazi said in a statement. Elsewhere, 10 crew members have been rescued and at least 3 others are killed after a cargo ship was attacked by Yemen's Houthis and sank in the Red Sea, a European naval mission says. The Liberian flag Greek-operated entity Sea was carrying 25 crew when it sustained significant damage and lost all propulsion after being hit by rocket-propelled grenade fired from a small boat on Monday, according to the UK Maritime Trade Operation Agency. The attack continued on Tuesday and such rescue operations commenced overnight. Finally, US President Donald Trump said he was planning to impose a 50% tax on goods made in Brazil, escalating his fight with the South American country. He announced the plan in his latest tariff letter, which was shared on social media. Responding in a social media post, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva said an increase in tariffs on Brazil would be reciprocated, and he warned against any interference in the nation's judiciary system.
Thank you, Madrama James. And now to the sports news with my colleague Darlington Moses.
Welcome, this is iRadio Sport News. Paris Saint-Germain continues their dominant run, smashing Real Madrid 4-0 to reach the Club World Cup final. This comes just weeks after they thrashed Inter Milan 5-0 in the Champions League final. Luis Enrique's sides have also beaten Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, and now face Chelsea this Sunday in New Jersey. Despite criticism that the Club World Cup lacks intensity, Paris Saint-Germain are treating it seriously and their results are showing it. In Major League Soccer, Lionel Messi is rewriting the record books. He scored twice in the Inter Miami's 2-1 win over New England, making him the first player to score multiple goals in the 4 straight MLS matches. That's 14 goals in 15 matches. Off the pitch, Brazil coach and former Real Madrid boss Carlo Ancelotti has been sentenced to 1 year in prison and fined 452,000 United States dollars by a Spanish court for tax evasion related to image rights income in 2014, the court dropped 2015 charges due to lack of residency proof. And finally, Jordan Henderson has ended his overseas spell. The former Liverpool captain has terminated his contract and is now linked to a Premier League return, with Sunderland reportedly leading the race. That's to sport news and update. Back to you in the studio, my colleague Baria Johnson.
Thank you, Madrama James. You're listening to iRadio News, and to end this bulletin, here are the headlines once again. President Salva Kiir announced that his government is removing public officials who prioritize self-interest over the country. A human rights advocate has raised concerns over the lack of transparency and limited access to information regarding 8 individuals deported from the United States to South Sudan. And authorities in Capoeira South County of Eastern Equatoria State say a bee attack at a gold mining on Wednesday has 1 person dead and another injured. That's the end of iRadio Afternoon News. If there is a story or an event you would like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 925 287870. It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page, iRadio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 1:30. I am Baria Johnson. Thank you for listening.